Ex-Mill shaved daughter's head as punishment. I'm so distraught on my daughter's behalf. Is there anything legally I can do? My daughter will clearly not be seeing her again. I'm in PA, USA. I, 28F, have a 6F with my ex. Ex is out of state for a few months for work-related business and hasn't been able to care for her. This is all fine, it's a part of our agreement. I am 35 weeks pregnant and had to go to the hospital earlier this week for some pretty intense pain that ended up being a kidney infection. I had nobody to watch my daughter from my family, so ex asked his mom if it was okay that she stayed with her while I sorted my infection out. She said yes and I dropped her off OTW to the hospital. I was released yesterday. I come to pick up my daughter and she's in tears with nitrogen monoxide hair. Completely shaved. Ex-Mill stated she wouldn't stop acting up so she needed to be punished. I'm quoting her. This little lady wouldn't stop moving around, acting hyper, and running about. I told her if she was going to keep acting like a rowdy little boy, I'd make her look like one. She didn't stop so I cut her hair. It was all I could do not to lay my hands on that woman. She looked so proud and smug. Now, I'd see if my daughter would have wanted her short. If that's what she wanted, I would have taken her to get it done. But my kid loves her hair. She is obsessed with the movie Tangled and had long hair like her. She is devastated. She won't look at herself. She keeps crying. I am so upset for her. She's barely a shell of the excited little girl she was 2 days ago. I know that there's some sort of legal verbiage that declares hair an extension of a person, therefore making this a possible assault, but is that true? What can I do here? I am not a lawyer. If I were in your shoes, I would file a police report, give photos. I wouldn't expect her to actually get charged with anything, but I would use that police report to then file for an order of protection for the child, which would help protect the child from future mistreatment. Legally, this could be a simple assault in PA, since Mill intentionally caused bodily injury. Realistically, there's a low probability of it being charged and brought to a judge. It's far more likely that the police will look at you and, since your ex is in agreement with you, advise you to not let your daughter be around the Mill unsupervised anymore. I'm sorry this happened to you and to her. As for your daughter, if she were mine, I'd start talking about how Rapunzel had her hair cut, and she was still super awesome and had a great happy ending. PA lawyer referral through Bar Association link. Just a resource. You can certainly talk to the police and attempt to file a report for assault. People have been charged with assault in other states under very similar circumstances. Personally, I'd also talk to your lawyer about amending the custody order to make certain this woman is never again in a position to harm your daughter. Please find her a wig as soon as possible, and strongly consider putting her in therapy. Regardless of whether you're successful in getting this addressed by the criminal justice system, she's been traumatized by an assault at the hands of a person she loved and trusted. She also has a major life change that's going to hit her in the next few weeks. She needs all the support she can get right now. Fearnet. 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 Not sure you want to go this route, but I wanted to add that you may have a civil claim under PA state law for intentional infliction of emotional distress, IIED. Under Pennsylvania law, to establish a claim for intentional infliction of emotional distress, a plaintiff must demonstrate intentional outrageous or extreme conduct by the defendants, which causes severe emotional distress to the plaintiff. Reedy v. Evanson, 615 F.3d197, 231, 3 DCIR 2010, quoting Swisher v. Pitts, 868A, 2D 1228, 1230, PA. Super. Court 2005. In addition, a plaintiff must suffer some type of resulting physical harm due to the defendant's outrageous conduct. ID. Liability on an intentional infliction of emotional distress claim has been found only where the conduct has been so outrageous in character, and so extreme in degree, as to go beyond all possible bounds of decency, and to be regarded as atrocious, and utterly intolerable in a civilized community. ID. At 231–232, quoting Field v. Philly. Elec. Company, 388 PA. Super. 400, 428, PA. Super. Court 1989. Based on your story, it sounds like you check a lot of those boxes. but you would definitely need to talk with a local attorney to find out if that's a claim you could pursue. This is literally an example of child abuse from Alaska's Child Abuse and Neglect Training Modules from the Office of Children's Services. Among other things that others have suggested, you should make a report to your state's children's services. I know you're relatively close to giving birth, but you need to make sure your ducks are in a row. Photograph her hair and the bag and file a police report so it's on record against your ex-MIL. Consider getting an order of protection if it sounds unnecessary. Do it for your daughter's sake so she feels safe right now. It sounds like your ex is on the same page, which is sincerely great, but in the future, you may wish to have set this precedence against ex-MIL just in case. Get your daughter into therapy. A few visits should be enough to get her through the worst of it. Look into any women's shelters in your area. There is most likely a therapy program for children, and it may be free. It may just entail doing puzzles or coloring while talking about what happened, but it will be helpful. Finally, please consider letting your daughter pick out a wig or 3. She might enjoy the opportunity to express herself and make lemonade from the lemons she's been handed. Do you have appropriate care for her when you are in the hospital giving birth? This child abuse. File a report and follow up with police as well. You should alert CPS and seek out a restraining order. The CPS alert may be important if one of her teachers notifies them herself. This is awful. There is a very minor nick close to her forehead that is very clearly from a razor. Nothing other than that and the loss of her hair. Mill bagged it up and was kind enough let her keep it. She is very upset though. Barely talking. She says nothing else happened except for that and she yelled at her a lot. PA uses fairly common definitions of child abuse, one of which is, an act or failure to act by a perpetrator which causes non-accidental serious mental injury to or sexual abuse or sexual exploitation of a child under 18 years of age. In turn, serious mental injury is defined as a psychological condition, as diagnosed by a physician or licensed psychologist, including the refusal of appropriate treatment, that does one or more of the following. Renders a child chronically and severely anxious, agitated, depressed, socially withdrawn, psychotic or in reasonable fear that the child's life or safety is threatened. Seriously interferes with a child's ability to accomplish age-appropriate developmental and social tasks. Link. So if you would like to maximize your chances of seeing something happen to your mill, getting a doctor, therapist to examine your daughter and opine that she meets one or more of the definitions above would go a long way to help. Source: former prosecutor of child abuse, neglect cases in a neighboring state. That is incredible disturbing behavior from mill and treatment of your child. Please contact all the applicable agencies and your lawyer. She should have no contact with your child.